Hello and welcome to Joy in Our Town, TBN, St. Joseph, Kansas City. I am your host, Lindsay Hardiman. Have you ever stopped and wondered who was in charge of those large signs we see when we commute each day? The signs that says things like click it or ticket or gives us information about upcoming exits or construction. Well, we have an answer for you as we are joined with Marcus Slaughter from Kansas City Scout. Marcus Slaughter, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well, we're glad you could join us. So let's start by briefly telling our viewers a bit about yourself and your position with KC Scout.
Well, with KC Scout, I am the Incident Management Coordinator, so the name pretty much says it all. I do manage the incidents out on the roadway, as you spoke of. When you're out there, you see the signs and you see the road work or you see the accidents.
Right.
It's either myself or a member of my staff that's out there trying to expedite that roadway emergency or incident at that time. Basically, I coordinate those efforts as well with both KDOT and MoDOT.
Oh, wow.
And we work closely with other entities or disciplines, whether it's law enforcement, EMS, towing, DNR, things like that, whatever it takes for us to be able to effectively get our roadways back open in a timely fashion.
All right, so overall, KC Scout is all about recording the incidents and making it safer for the community on our commutes.
Basically, and we do that, like you say, our operators, they patrol the roads, and in our TMC, we also have dispatchers that are monitoring cameras to help us to proactively see things before they happen, so to speak.
All right, so you said you want to monitor the incidents and accidents. So how do you alert the viewers in the community about a car accident or a stalled vehicle? How does this work? Well,
those signs that you see, those dynamic message boards, that's what we like to call them. They alert you to incidents ahead. They give you travel times and things like that. While behind the wheel, those are the signs you look at, and they alert you to upcoming events or distractions or things like that that you can be aware of and help you to navigate or possibly even take another route. And also, if you visit our website, kcscout.net, before leaving, you can get real-time traffic updates before you even step out the door.
Oh, wow. So how frequently is the message board updates? I know you said you can go to the website and get real-time updates on there, but how frequently are these message boards updated?
Basically the same, because we don't just get information from KC Scout. We have other partners throughout the community that also have those ITS devices that we can tap into and monitor. And by having operators out on the road that are physically patrolling the roads, we can usually monitor those message boards really quickly and get those messages updated.
And so you have a ton of people working all on it to get these messages out?
A ton, maybe not a ton, but we definitely have enough to ensure that we get a timely message out to the motors.
All right, that's wonderful. All right, so, we have these signs displayed. Has there ever been reports of incidents when people actually try to brake or slow down and stop to actually read these signs?
Well, not exactly. We try to put the signs up high enough, and we try to put the lettering, big enough to where you can see it at a distance.
Right.
We definitely don't want it to be a distraction. But the messages are very brief and to the point. So, no, we haven't had any incidents where people have just stopped to read the signs, but we're definitely aware of it, and that's why we try to place the signs where we do. All
right, and why does Scout post travel times on the website?
Just that. We would love for people to be able to make informed travelway decisions. Actually, we don't post those times. There are sensors in the roadway, so it actually automatically updates those travel times for the drivers as they're motoring down the road.
All right, and does that work the same for the website when you say you update that in real time? How does that work?
Basically the same. We have several sensors in the roadway, those dynamic signs, and a lot of infrastructure to help update these things. Our operators do manually go in and put in when things change, but the maps, they can detect when you slow down. If it's all green, traffic's flowing good. If it's yellow, it's slowing down. And if it's red, of course, it's at a stop. So it is able to update itself, but we go in there and manually do it as well.
All right, well, we're going to go ahead and put some information on the screen for our viewers at home. If you would like to get more information about KC Scout, you can give them a call at 816-607-2000, or you can go to the website, just as Marcus has said, at kcscout.net. All right, so you said there are sensors in the road as well as other individuals out monitoring to the road. So is it the sensors or the combination of the people out on the roads that gets to let you know about, an incident or cars that are stalled?
Well, a little bit of both. We have over 300 closed-circuit TVs that we move and reposition throughout the day to try to pick up spots on the roadway so we can see what's going on. Our TMC dispatchers, they alert us if they see anything that could be a potential hazard,
Right.
as well as if there is a stranded motorist or something out there that could impede traffic flow. Now, we do have operators that are, behind the wheel actually patrolling the roads because, there are hot spots. We know where traffic, usually builds up.
Right.
So we try to proactively monitor these areas, and oftentimes we can take care of incidents before they happen. So the public don't even know that there was an incident because we've had the opportunity to take care of it before they get there.
All right. Do you see a fluctuation when it's rush hour, things like that?
Yes, we do. In fact, the TMC, we actually staff more during rush hour periods because there are just so many devices. And not only are we looking at monitors or screens, but we're also getting information from those partners that I spoke of earlier. Depending on what municipality you're in, their
Right.
dispatchers are calling in to our dispatchers and alerting us to issues out on the roadway as well.
All right. So earlier on, you said the website can help me get ready for my commute in the morning. But what other ways are there that the website can help me?
Yeah, exactly that. Once you become familiar with it, you're able to navigate through it a lot better. And as I mentioned before, with the green and the yellow and the red, you'll be able to just glance at it and know, this route is a little slow today. Maybe I'll take another route.
Right.
We also have other media outlets that you can go on and look at that you can get on your smartphone. There are smartphone applications out there, and you can actually program that into your phone as well, and you can get that same information.
All right. So there's tons of ways to get the information
Yes.
from Casey Scout
Yes,
for us to commute.
If you visit that kcscout.net, all the different avenues or social media ways that we can get that information out will be listed, and you can navigate it through there.
Okay. So earlier on, you also mentioned that you cover it from one end to the next
Yes.
end. So why doesn't the Scout system cover all of I-435 or I-70?
Well, for the most part, we do. There are some areas on the northern loop of I-435 where we just don't have that ITS infrastructure.
Okay,
It
gotcha.
does, it costs a lot to get that infrastructure put in, and we just don't have it there at this time.
Right.
However, we do cover, let's just say I-70 from St. Louis all the way to the Kansas-Colorado line.
Wow.
And we do the same thing up to the Iowa border as well. So it's roughly 600 miles, that we monitor via KC Scout. Now, the only area on I-70 that we don't monitor or have information about through our closed-circuit TVs would be the Kansas Turnpike on I-70, but that's under KTA jurisdiction. However, we do receive information from KDOT and our other agencies on the Kansas side that help us to know what's going on out there, and if we're able to help in any way, we do.
Right. So although you don't necessarily particularly cover, you still get information from
Exactly.
other sources.
And then we can actually put that out on our social media outlets, therefore notifying the public of what they can expect, even though we don't have the infrastructure out there. We're not visually seeing it. We can't report it.
All right, so you said you can get the message out via website, via apps, and you said social media. So all of these together are still linked back to the kcscout.net?
Yes.
All right. Okay, we're going to put some information on the screen for our viewers at home. Again, if you would like more information about KC Scout, you can give them a call at 816-607-2000 or visit the website at kcscout.net. All right, so back to the electronic message boards. Are these manually typed and then it just goes right directly to it?
Yes, our TMC operators, that's the wonderful thing about technology. They can actually type the message in from their desktop and put it out there on that screen.
Oh, wow, it goes fast.
Our operators, our law enforcement, or whoever actually spots it can actually pass that information on, and we can immediately get a message out there. And or change it if the situations change while we're out there.
Just like you said, in quick time,
Yes.
real life time.
Exactly.
All right. And how would you say the economy has affected KC Scout in your efforts?
Well, the economy affects everyone.
Exactly.
KC Scout is no different. Definitely, everyone would have a wish list to have the closed-circuit TVs and the infrastructure on every route that they travel. But unfortunately, funding isn't there for those things. So
Right.
As funding is available, I'm sure we'll think about other ways that we can get that out. Because, of course, ITS is a lot cheaper than actually constructing new roadways. So there's pros and cons both ways, as you look at the economy. But again, in a perfect world or a wish list, we would love to have more devices out on the roadway.
All right. So that's pretty much the overall goal, to get more people out there on the roadways. Exactly.
And it's just that we want to help you to be able to navigate, make informed decisions before, while you're out on the roadway. We can't go out and miraculously build another lane of road, but we can tell you the best route to take or an alternate route to take if need be.
All right. All right, so with these alternate routes that's going on with construction and everything, how do you all actually come up with the plan to alternate that? Is there like an overall map in the office and those operators are on that?
Well, it's a lot that goes into that. A lot of planning on the front end via construction, maintenance, and a lot of engineering minds get together and decide what is the best course of action to take around those. We don't necessarily divert traffic off of our system onto city streets. Any detours that we have up, of course, would be on, MoDOT routes, but we can put up a message that says use alternate routes. And then, of course, the motorists can use whatever avenue they can to figure out another route. In essence, we just tell them this is the one that you should avoid this particular day or from this amount of time, and you might want to think about alternate means.
All right, and you said it goes all the way to St. Louis, back to this area, so those people that are out on the road have to travel up and down that area as well?
Well, we have operators in the Kansas City proper area on both sides of the state line, as well as in the St. Louis area as well. So, we'll definitely cover it from one end to the other, and we'll overlap in the middle wherever we need to.
All right, and overall, what would you say as a community, how we can come together to assist with KC Scout and actually just make the roads safer?
Well, unfortunately in this day and time, we talked about the smartphone applications and things like that.
Right.
But distracted driving is probably one of the biggest factors to impeding traffic flow for whatever reason. If you're distracted, you're not paying attention to your surroundings, and unfortunately in instances like that, accidents can occur.
Right.
The best advice would be when you're driving, do just that, drive.
Yeah.
Focus on the task at hand, and do it well. When you give it your full attention, usually you do it well. We don't have any problems like that, but I would say if folks would just, focus on the task at hand, which is driving, and not be distracted for whatever reason.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a cell phone. It can be eating or putting on makeup or, the kids in the back seat. It really doesn't matter, know. If we can educate, our families, about the dangers of the roadway when you don't pay attention, I think that would really help.
All right. Well, Marcus Slaughter, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And thank you, viewers, for tuning in to Joy in Our Town, TBN, St. Joseph, Kansas City. I am your host, Lindsay Hardiman, and we'll see you next time.
Missouri's Move Over law protects many different highway workers, including law enforcement, roadside assistance, and MoDOT crews. The law is simple. If you see flashing lights on the side of the road, move over to give workers and emergency personnel plenty of room to stay safe. If you can't move over on a crowded highway, you should slow down as you pass them. Not only is it the law, it's the right thing to do. This work zone season, move over. Don't zone out.
You were never meant to carry the burdens you bear. You no longer have to live with guilt or shame. God is waiting for you, and He wants to set you free. Christ came to give you an abundant life. At the Holy Land Experience in Orlando, Florida, the power of God is transforming lives. Healings, baptisms of the Holy Spirit, salvations, and forgiveness are happening in record numbers. So come, receive your miracle. God is waiting for you.
KTAJ TV16 would like to encourage you to partner with TBN in collecting items for 2 local outreach ministries. The Grace House, located at 2638 Lafayette in St. Joseph, is accepting your gently used clothing and household items. All items are given to those in need free of charge. Please contact the Grace House for more information at 816-262-9401. Food for Kids, located at 19th and Massany in St. Joseph, is accepting non-perishable food items, which are used to feed hungry children Monday through Friday while school is not in session. please contact Food for Kids at 713-514-2843.
If you are not able to attend the St. Joseph City Council meeting, you will want to stay tuned for very important excerpts pertaining to our local civic affairs. Please join me now as we watch the meeting.
Okay, City Manager's report.
Just a couple things. We had the pleasure a brief amount ago, in case the members of the audience or those watching at home haven't caught the news yet, we just cut the ribbon on the Southwest Parkway Bridge over Garfield. So the parkway is back open. That project that's been closed for quite a while under construction is complete. Very pleased to have done that. I'd like to give credit to a few folks. First and foremost, the Citizens Committee back in 2008 who recommended and supported considering this project being on the list for the voters, and of course certainly the voters for approving the 2008 Capital Improvements Program, which provided the funds for this project. Construction cost of the bridge itself, right around $3 million. The original project, the original bridge was built in 1929. It was redecked in the mid-early 80s. Completion of this bridge also completed the hike and bike trail connections between Hyde Park and Krug Park. So now there's a continuous hike and bike trail system, one from the other. The original bridge was 19 spans. This one is only 3. We shortened it in order to conserve funds and to provide more creative ways to provide the same service. The original bridge was 620 feet. This one's only 215. We also had to deal with a 100-year floodplain that was underneath the bridge. I'm very pleased with the creative ways that staff and our design engineer, HDR, came up with to deal with those stormwater flows by creating a box culvert underneath the approach slab so we didn't have to buy additional property from our neighbor. So thanks to R.A. Knapp, who was the contractor, and a special thanks to Roger Sparks, our city engineer, and Brady McKinley, who our civil engineer and engineering division, who did the on-site inspection. Secondly and lastly, City Council has asked for an opportunity to discuss our hotel-motel tax. I'm proposing a June 1st, that's Wednesday, June 1st, 4:15 meeting to do just that. I'll be bringing to you a list of projects that have been discussed over the years, give you a financial accounting of where our 3% hotel-motel tax is. Ask you for the completeness of our particular list in terms of prioritization. I want to have a discussion about how you might want to go about prioritizing projects, whether that's something you want to do just within the council or whether you want to open that to a more public process, because ultimately I want to hone in on what would be your 2 to 4 top priorities so we can invest some staff time to refine the scopes, refine cost estimates so we can have a more detailed discussion. So not a lot of pressure on this first meeting other than bringing a lot of facts to the table and trying to make sure we have a pretty comprehensive list. Okay, that's all I have.
All right, thanks, Bruce.
My name is, I live on, and I'm here representing 14 of my neighbor property owners. We put a little petition together knowing that this is a problem that is actually connected with a lot of the things that we're talking about here tonight, and that's the meth and the drug houses that are going on in this city. And if we don't address that situation as well as some of these other situations, we are going to have even less people paying taxes and less money coming into the till to help solve some of these other problems. I put together this little petition that says we would like to see something done at the fourplex located after many months, almost a year.
Could you say that address again, please?
After many months of calls to Drug Strike Force Police Department for illegal activity, suspicious people, domestic violence, disturbing the peace, nothing has been resolved. We're still looking for a solution to the problem with this residence. I feel like we in this neighborhood have gone through all the avenues that we need to go through or supposed to go through, and yet this problem still persists. I'm picking up hypodermic needles out of my yard, out of the front, and ones that are thrown over my fence. We have little children in this house that are unattended because their parents are whacked out. We have fights going on and breaking out. And the police have been there. The drug strike force has been there. Almost a year ago, they did a big bust, and it broke it up for a couple months. And the place just repopulated with it. New people doing the same thing. We have people living in the garage, an unattached garage. We have people living in the dirt floor basement underneath this fourplex, and multiple people living in the units. And I don't know that anybody's paying rent. And so obviously we're to the point where we're in front of the city council asking for your help, hoping that we put something together. We need to start stemming this tide that's an epidemic in the city as well.
I agree with you.
Mayor,
So, Barbara?
I certainly sympathize with your problem because for many years I had the same thing in my neighborhood. And one thing that I would like to see us as a city get back to is having more of the drug dogs. I think they are a wonderful asset, and I think right now we're just down to one. But I can certainly sympathize with what you're saying. And it's horrifying to live by something like that. It's like you never know when you're going to step on the landmine.
That's certainly true. And that's, the police tell me, the drug strike force tells me, well, it takes a long time to build a case. Yeah. Well, it takes a long time. We have to have everything in order. Mm-hmm. And so my question to you is, why can't we pass different ordinances? Why can't we bring the dogs back to where the police have the opportunity to go in and have a valuable reason to go into these places? I know you're not going to get rid of all the big drug dealers by taking care of this house that we're having problems with, but certainly would have more public safety. We're trying to rebuild this neighborhood. These 14 people that live here, we're all fixing up our houses, trying to make the neighborhood look good again, which again relates to, we want new businesses to come to this town. We want to be able to show them off or take them through towns and not have them see this blight and this stuff going on in the city. That's going to help us on some of these other issues, especially like the sewer problems that we have here as well. So this is really a big part of the problem in the city as well. So we need to look at, I don't know what it is that we can do, but we need to do something so the police and drug strike force don't have to take 2 years to build a case. We need enforcement. I don't know what we need, but we need to come up with a plan. I'm asking you all for suggestions.
Is this a residential home, or is it a business that they're living in?
It's a rental fourplex.
Okay.
And it's in the middle. It's the middle of a residential neighborhood. Okay. One of the owners has another rental unit, and he's had his tenants already complain that they're going to leave because of the activity going on here.
Okay.
So he's going to lose revenue, and it's just, we're either going to go down a slippery slope or we're going to stop the tide and we're going to set things straight.
And I would just almost bet that these same people you're discussing are probably getting some kind of public benefits too. And that's another thing I think we need to look at is drug testing anyone that receives public benefits.
Yeah, don't get me started on that. Another thing. Yeah.
Paul didn't want to be here tonight.
No, I didn't.
He didn't want to come tonight. And this isn't the first time he's called me about this. And I told him, when you call the drug strike force and give them addresses, license numbers, names, and they'll say, well, we're trying to get the big one. He said, Pat, I'm afraid I'll be targeted if I come and talk. I praise you for doing this.
I do too.
Yeah, not everybody feels like you do.
Like I say, I have 14 signatures of people, and they've all
Good people.
called drug strike force. They've all called the police department. They were there. Police were there Sunday for a fight going on with a woman being drugged across the front of the yard. They were there a week ago Sunday for the same thing, another fight. And the police come and they do what they can, but it's not enough.
And Bruce, ask a question. If somebody gets arrested by the police in St. Joe, whose job is it? Who makes the decision whether or not they get prosecuted for drugs? Is it the city prosecutor or is it the county prosecutor in the city?
County prosecutor.
County? Well, see, because I understand one of them just retired, and they've only got one other person that prosecutes drug cases, is what I understand, and he doesn't live in town. And so they're getting a lot less drugs prosecuted than they ever have. and it needs to be looked into.
It does.
Realize that two and a half blocks up the street from my house, a young man, 18 years old, got murdered last week.
Yeah.
Up the street, 1 block up the street, a teenager stabbed a minor. If we don't start doing something about intervention and enforcement, we're going to all be in sad shape.
Well, one of the prosecutors is just retired, and as of now, they're not planning on replacing her.
But part of the problem was the police have been there twice. The last 2 times they've been there for fights, they've interviewed people, they've calmed the situation down, and they've taken no one into custody. So these people know what's going on. They know they do their brawl, and then about 10 or 15 minutes into it, they all kind of go back inside and be quiet, and then the police arrive, and they really have nobody to talk to. I witnessed the one. I was working on my house last Sunday, and the police came up. They never even bothered to come ask me. I was apparently right there watching it. Didn't even come to interview me about what had happened. You know, and these people that live in this house, the people that live this way, they know how to play the system. They all go inside. The police come and talk to them. They don't know anything, I'm sure.
They won't prosecute against each other.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So what has to be changed so that when these things happen, the police have an opportunity to go inside the residence, to see the drugs, to see what's going on, without it having to be a 2-year building of a case.
I can talk to you more about it, but the Fourth Amendment of the United States Constitution is what we cannot violate or we can actually be criminally prosecuted for.
I understand that. But there has to be some way. We spend I mean, we spend our whole time trying to figure out, okay, here's the laws, how do we get around them? We've heard it all night long. Here's the laws, how do we get around them? How do we make happen what we need to have happen and still be within the law? So please, find a way to take care of some of these situations in this town before there's not going to be a town to take care of.
That's right.
Thank
Well,
you.
you know, I do applaud you because
Yeah.
in order for us to get this under control, it's people like you all over this community that needs, you know, that's what we need to do is get together and try to fight this. So I applaud what you're doing.
Once again, you have just watched a St. Joe City Council meeting on TBN TV 16. You may view the meeting in its entirety on the internet at ci.st-joseph.mo.us. Or if you have more questions, you may call the City of St. Joseph at 816-271-4610.
This program has been sponsored by the Trinity Broadcasting Network and made possible by your telephone dollars. Your continual support can keep Joy in Our Town brought to your home every day. So write Joy in Our Town, P.O. Box A, Santa Ana, California, 92711.